Wade and Wade Reacts.
We've been looking at a lot of different channels that have things to do with Warhammer, by way of subscriber requests. So we have Luetin09. Let's get into it.
This is Luetin. Now, because my deep lore videos take a long time to produce, I've decided to create, in addition to them, supplemental content about systems, groups, war gear, and in general smaller elements that are important and interesting, but outside the historical context of 40k lore. So today we begin our look at the types of planets that exist in the galaxy of the Imperium. The Imperium of Man is home to over 1 million settled planets across the Milky Way galaxy. Most were settled before the Great Crusade of the Emperor in the 31st millennium, but thousands have been colonised since that time to the current date in the 41st millennium. The Administratum of the Imperium classifies planets for the purpose of raising imperial tithes based on raw materials, manufacturing, and recruitment for imperial forces. Humanity is stretched thin across the galaxy and is far from the strength it once knew. As such, it's not uncommon for a single governor to have control over an entire system. Imperial planets are rarely scattered randomly throughout the galaxy, but tend to be clustered around an original human settlement that occurred during the original expansion of humanity in the Dark Age of technology. Because of this, human sectors are somewhat practically located to support one another, and consequently, planets tend to have one core purpose rather than a broad spectrum of activities as exists here on Earth.
Those names, those are planets.
The Imperium encompasses so many worlds that it's believed they are far
galaxy,
from
those
all
are
accounted
far
for.
and few.
It is simply known that the Imperium constitutes over 1 million worlds. The Adeptus Terra holds that the whole human race is under the rule of the Emperor of Man and the Imperium, and as such this is one of the never-ending quests carried out by the Imperium to locate and unite lost human colonies. The Imperium aggressively guards its territory. Its sheer size and limited resources mean that it is often unable to defend every attack on its borders. Many planets will live and die alone, with only the most severe threats commanding the attention of the Adeptus Terra. Whole worlds are regularly lost to Xenos, internal anarchy and rebellion, or even natural disasters. News of their destruction can sometimes take centuries to reach the Adeptus Terra. Such is the bleak and just unstable situation for humanity in this age. Despite its immense military power, after the Horus Heresy, the Imperium simply just does not have the strength of numbers to appropriately secure its systems. Civilized planets are still in a process of development and have generally been allowed to develop of their own accord by the Imperium. They are largely self-sufficient and have a varying level of manufacturing, technological and military capability. It is often the case that the planet's capital sees a higher level of tech, as this was the original colonization site millennia ago. The strength of a civilized planet is often dependent on its planetary geography, available resources and other limiting factors. The classification of a civilized world covers a large percentage of imperial worlds. They are designated as retaining a population between 15 million up to a maximum threshold of 10 billion, and their relative imperial tithe would vary depending on population, resources and, again, technological advancement. Even planets with a very high population may have a very sprawled cityscape, more akin to a 21st century style city, and not contain the dense urban citadels known as hives to warrant the designation of a hive world. Chapter homeworlds are the planets of an Astartes chapter, such as the Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Imperial Fists, White Scars, Dark Angels, and so on. These are extremely highly well-defended places and have massive military resources. They contain the holy fortresses, the monasteries of each Space Marine chapter. Astartes homeworlds may be planets in the traditional sense, but they can also take the form of vast spacecraft, moons, or even asteroids. Each chapter master, the overall commander of any given chapter, since now most Astartes no longer have a reigning Primarch, will hold the rank of Imperial Planetary Governor. Some Astartes planets may be death worlds, pharaoh or feudal worlds, which will yield the toughest warriors for their recruitment processes into
How do you
Imperial
become a
Space
chapter
Marines.
master?
Fleet-based
That's a
chapters
good
will
question.
generally not have specific homeworlds, and so they will recruit from any relative planet or promising worlds they pass by as they carry out their duties. Many pleasure worlds contain major cities, but others have sporadic settlements to cater to their guests. All of these are considered a subcategory of civilized worlds. These lush planets of sweeping coasts, deep valleys, rich forests, and extensive mountain ranges are the definition of a paradise. They are havens for the higher-ups in imperial society: nobles, lords, overseers, aristocrats. They usually are the few who have clearance to see such beauty and enjoy it as they see fit.
You need clearance to
without
enjoy it?
pursuits or general leisure activities. Pleasure worlds are often very cultured places, and many have huge proportions of their populace dedicated solely to producing works of art, music, or other forms of entertainment. Casino complexes, opulent restaurants, and huge ballrooms are often found on such worlds. There is, though, a darker side to these garden worlds, as they're often very isolated away from prying Inquisition eyes, and they are really an unplugged element from the Imperium. This has led to decadent nobles, rogue traders, even Imperial commanders using these planets to plot schemes either to a dark end or for their own benefit, as well as the worst crimes catering to depraved guests who may well be chaos cultists dedicated to the pleasure god Slanesh. Cardinal worlds are ruled over by the ecclesiarchy and act as centres for spiritual and physical power of the Ministorum of Terror. The Ministorum has a great deal of temporal power and resources, and cardinal worlds tend to be very well defended with a fairly high degree of technology and a good standard of living for its citizens. Imperial sanctuaries, cathedrals, temples will potentially cover entire continents. They also serve as a base of operations for many orders of the
entire
Adeptus
continent?
Yeah, that's
Soror.
insane.
They are usually governed as well by a council of cardinals. Shrine worlds are planets dominated by the imperial cult and acts of devotion to the god emperor of mankind. Many planets of this type have seen some important imperial figure born there, or a battle of galactic importance to the Imperium take place. Shrine worlds can hold any other designation as well as being a shrine world, and so much as paradise worlds, it's really a sub-designation. All shrine worlds will have a strong relationship with the imperial saint connected to the planet in question, such as being the world of said saint's birth or death, or as again a site of a major miracle in the name of the emperor. Similar in nature to shrine worlds, these planets are given to caring for the vast numbers of imperial dead. The wars in which humanity finds itself engaged in often lead to loss of life in the millions. Cemetery worlds are often established on the site
You would
of a major
definitely need a
battle,
whole
or
world
cities
for
which are in effect
all the
sprawling
deaths that take place in this
mausoleums,
world.
each dedicated to an imperial noble family. They may also be covered in more modest fields of dead from massive hive worlds featuring billions of citizens. They may also be smaller planetary bodies such as a moon orbiting a planet, again with an extremely high population up in the billions.
That's
Many
crazy.
frontier worlds were only recently discovered by the Imperium through explorative Adeptus Mechanicus fleets or human rogue traders, and are usually home to isolated, low population but reasonably technologically capable Imperial colonists from the past few millennia. Often they are awaiting a further classification, and the Administratum have not had time or cause to give a full assessment of the situation. They also can be a destination for those who want to escape justice or a bounty from a hive world. As such, their title of Frontier is well deserved, as they have a reputation of lawlessness. However, not all are dens of villainy, and some may be a collective of Imperial citizens who either crashed or travelled there, but regardless, for whatever reason, ended up colonising a lost planet capable of supporting human life. This is Luetin, and I will continue this series soon, as next time we look at the war planets of the Imperium. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a like and comment on the immersive lore of Warhammer 40,000.
The more and more I learn about Warhammer lore, the more I would not want to live in the Warhammer universe. The Imperium is a mess, it seems like, and their reach or Their civilization spans throughout the entire galaxy, and to hear that they don't have the necessary protection for all planets because resources are scarce, man, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, you know, what if, because he said that there could be conflict on a certain planet, but it won't get back into the Imperium because I guess time and manpower. Just think he was in some type of conflict that was lasting for like years, but the Imperium doesn't even know about it. You need aid and they never show up.
Yeah, he said it would take centuries for that news to make it back.
Yeah.
And then they have pleasure planets, planets where only the rich and the highest standing citizens are able to go. And those places, he said, could be a good spot for people who are taken by chaos to form their plans on how to attack the Imperium.
Yeah, I wouldn't really feel safe on the pleasure planet if I was rich, because that planet, he didn't really speak on protection of that planet.
He didn't.
So he said it's kind of isolated. So even if you're good or evil, another faction attacks you on that planet, you're pretty much done.
That's a fact. Which planet would you, if you had to live in the Warhammer universe, which type of planet would you choose to live on?
Maybe the Ecclesiarchy's planet, which they're kind of religious, so I don't know if I want to live on a planet with them. Or maybe become a space marine and live on one of those planets that they have. It seems like it's pretty. You can. I don't know. I don't want to be a space marine though, because if I get damaged, I have to be a dreadnought. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, you would have to be. So can regular citizens live on a space marine's planet?
That's a good question. Do they have their own? Because I know they got 1,000 men in their ranks, but do they have their own little military? I think not, because the Cadians and then the Krieg and all the other, what do they call them, Astromilitar people, they have like their own homeworlds as well. So I doubt they probably have people walking around like servants and stuff, and maybe mechanic is there as well, but I doubt they have their own like little military factions.
Yeah, that's a hard choice for me. I don't know which planet I would live on. Probably Cadia. No, Cadia got destroyed, right? Nah, I couldn't choose that planet.
Space debris.
Dang. If there are citizens allowed on the planet that the Space Marines inhabit, that's the planet I would choose because it seems like it would be the most secure.
Yeah.
That does it for our reaction to this subscriber request. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments section. Also like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you'll never miss a video from Wade and Wade Reacts.
And we're out of here.
Peace.